Today on the show, we have got Keith Mafu from Firebrand Africa, he's going to tell us about it. Keith, welcome once again to the conversation.
Study as much as you can about tax.
Sure.
Try your best to familiarize yourself around contracts.
Yes.
Even if you have someone representing you, start learning the language. And even if they mention one or two clauses or phrases or words, you're not completely thrown off, especially as a new entrepreneur. Actually, not even just as a new entrepreneur. I'm always surprised how many of us have been doing this for a while.
Don't be afraid to communicate your capacity. Don't be afraid to communicate who you are looking for. Sometimes with entrepreneurs, they're like, no, I'll work with anybody. If you say that you work with anybody, it means you're going to work with nobody. You've got to be specific and not be afraid to communicate that into the market so you can actually become oversubscribed.
Hi there. Welcome to Monetize Your Business podcast conversations in partnership with FNB. Every single week, we bring you interesting conversations that are taking place in the entrepreneurial landscape. And of course, today is no different. But before we introduce our guest for today, you know how we do. I am not flying this plane on my own. I've got my trusted co-pilot with me, Papa Biz. How are you?
No, I'm good. It's good to be here. And finally, we get to sit down with Keith. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yes, sir. So am I. So am I.
Yeah, no,
Thanks for having me.
absolutely. No, you're more than welcome. Any aha moments for you this week? Anything coming up for you, Papa, in the entrepreneurial world?
You know, I actually picked one from the book Oversubscribed. It's by Daniel Priestley. And Oversubscribed, it's the principle that of having more business coming in than actually your business is able to handle. And the strategies and tactics to be able to do that, how to get more clients than you can actually be able to facilitate for. One story that he put in as an example was a coach, a business coach where, for instance, this person charges $600 an hour, where in the States at that time, most people were charging about $35 per hour. And you're stating that what he actually did is he'd give out a lot of information for free on social media about how to grow. And he'd grow his brand and his personality. And by giving value, he'd get quite a lot of inquiries.
Yeah.
And when the inquiries would come through, he'd communicate, listen, I work with the elite. I only have space for 8 clients this year. I can only handle 8 clients this year. So you get many people who, either they put off by that or they still want to work with him, but he was very, very selective. And you see, it sent a signal into the market in terms of who he's looking to work with.
Yes.
He's not looking for those who want to pay $35 an hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's looking very, very
It's gone
specific.
very premium.
And it sent such an important signal. And every year he's, oversubscribed.
Amazing.
And it was just an example in terms of, for all of us, don't be afraid to communicate your capacity. Don't be afraid to communicate who you are looking for. Sometimes with entrepreneurs, they're like, no, I'll work with anybody. No, but if you say that you work with anybody, it means you're going to work with nobody. You've got to be specific and not be afraid to communicate that into the market so you can actually become oversubscribed.
Sure, that's a brilliant one.
Love
That's
that.
a really, really good one.
Love that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I supposed to can I add a comment?
Yeah,
after
sure.
that?
Yeah,
Go
go
for
Right.
for it.
I love that because that ties in so much to how our company operates. So when you're saying adding value, we actually have a phrase in the company. It's AVA, which is add value in every room. So unless we are getting some or giving some sort of value, we can't walk around saying, I can't get business from X or I can't get a meeting with this client. If you haven't come up with a good enough proposition that shows that you're adding some sort of strategic value, then it makes sense why certain deals or certain campaigns are not coming in.
Exactly.
So yeah, but I'd love to also check out that book.
It's
Oversubscribed.
It's a brilliant book. Really, really good
Love
book.
it.
So monetizers, as you can see, the conversation is already flowing, which is something that I really love. Today on the show, we have got Keith Mafu from Firebrand Africa, which is, he's going to tell us about it because I don't want to diminish the work that they do in terms of the visibility that they give some of your most favorite brands. Keith, welcome once again to the conversation.
Thank you, Hetty. Thank you, Papa,
Welcome.
for having me. And actually, I'm going to make a little fun of the fact that people always say Firebrand,
Yes.
Firefly.
Oh, really?
And I don't mind it at all because
Yes.
I think what's important is that the word is somehow memorable in a particular way. And if
Yes.
it makes you think of us, then fantastic.
Yes.
But yes, so Firebird Africa, actually, let me give some context in terms of the
Please
name.
do.
Yeah.
So the name actually comes from one, because it's a firebird, and the phoenix.
Uh-huh.
So the idea behind the phoenix for me is a story of rebirth, second chances. A very, very long time ago, I was burnt with hot water.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah, so I was lucky to be alive. I spent like 2 years in the hospital.
Wow.
And I think as growing up, I realized that, that's what life is about. I'm here for a reason. There's a reason why I've been given the second chance to be here,
Yeah.
to build, empower others. So I think that's what inspired the name Firebird. But yes, Firebird in a nutshell is a media solutions company.
Yeah.
We started out, with just an idea, and it slowly grew. But we can unpack that as we go along. But so Firebird is basically a South African-based company, a Joburg-based company that has over 450 assets around the country. We do everything from digital advertising to ATMs to bus, taxi. So we're always looking at opportunities to add to the solutions table as opposed to just focusing on one
Yes.
asset. So for us, we've always said we want this to be a one-stop shop. So whenever clients come to us and there's something that they're looking for that we don't have, then we go out there and find it.
No, that's fine. And thanks for putting that into context. I mean, for us, when we met Keith a couple of months ago, and as we were engaging, I'm listening to him talk, and he's so structured and so on. And I'm just thinking, hey, but this guy's got 450 billboards. So, but in any case, yes, you've got your own technical jargon. For me, hey, he's got 450 billboards, if you don't know, guys. But take me a little bit back, before like this person that we're seeing here today. You were talking earlier that you're something like you grew up on a farm.
Yeah. Grew up on a farm.
Where was this?
Reluctantly in KZN, Pomeroy, Vryheid.
Oh, wow.
If anyone out there knows, but yeah, it was a lot of learning, and I think that's where you probably learn hard work, or that's where I learned it.
Yeah.
Whether you feel like it or you don't, you still have to get things done.
Yes.
And there's no shortcut to those things. I guess, which is why I was so excited to be in Joburg and see all the access. I think that's what people always do. You move around because you want access to things.
Yes.
And accessibility sometimes can be worth more than just making the money.
True.
So yeah, but it was a good exposure. That's where I learned uksinda. Working with cow dung with your hands. And in fact, what's funny about that, when people meet me, it sounds like the furthest thing from reality. Like, oh, you've always stayed, in the burbs and that sort of thing. But I think that's also testament to, if you work hard enough, you can actually change yourself as a person.
Yes.
You can completely, do a switch. And that's what I like about life. Like, you can work on your avatar, you can build yourself up, you can learn new things, and change your life. Yeah.
Sure.
I love that. Have you always been entrepreneurial?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, in terms of the entrepreneurial spirit, I started selling amakota in high school and biscuits. I remember walking home. My mom told me, "Here's some money to buy a bus ticket." And obviously, I didn't buy a bus ticket. I decided to take that money and go and buy a box of cookies. And I worked on a plan in my head. Okay, I'm buying them for 50 cents. I'm going to sell them for 2 Rand or 1 Rand 50. I have to have enough to buy more stock next week and keep profit. So I started doing that and moved on to, were you ever a Sean John fan? at any point?
No,
Kind
not
of.
really. I knew of it, but I
Well,
wasn't.
maybe not now anymore, but yeah. So back in the day as well, also did some Sean John tracksuits and stuff
Nice.
for
Because
all
there was
the.
a point when it was trending. It
Yeah,
was
it was.
the thing. Yeah.
It was. It was a huge thing. A lot of my friends didn't want to necessarily go into town. They didn't want to have to like, go far out. Let's say they lived in Pretoria.
Yeah.
And where you get these things is somewhere in like Carlton Center, small street. And yeah, so I wouldn't be afraid to do that. I'd walk on my own, do my thing.
I know you knew the streets.
Yeah, I did. I did know the streets, which is funny because now they're places that I definitely
Who
avoid.
wouldn't go?
I don't even know, why I was
Yeah.
that brave. But anyway, yeah. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, no, it absolutely does. And that's so interesting because, everyone's journey kind of has a beginning and then you kind of see it kind of mature over time. So for you to now build Firebird, was that just another extension of your entrepreneurial journey?
Yes, beautifully phrased too. Yeah, I think that has been the culmination. I think that a very big thing a lot of entrepreneurs do is they feel like your first idea is supposed to work. Because if that was the case, my Gota business would be huge now. My biscuit business, my Sean John or tracksuit business would have been big. Thereafter, we even did Battery Mate, which was we came up with a company where we would mount a battery that could charge your device while you're sitting at a restaurant, and then on the other side offer advertising. That didn't work. And if some of these ideas worked, what I mean is in they didn't work. I didn't give them scale. I couldn't give them scale
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
time. And so even if I was able to make money, but sometimes not all the deals or not all the companies you come up with will work.
Yeah.
So Firebird became the culmination of all the years of experience and things I learned,
Yes.
all the school fees I paid
Yes.
with the failures. And so this has been that culmination. All the relationships I made 10, 15 years ago, those are the people I'm working with now. So it also just shows you that, yeah, sometimes things aren't paying off right now.
Yeah.
But in 5 years' time, I run into someone else and we happen to have something that aligns and then we can work. So I think, yeah, Firebird was a combination of just good timing and experience.
So you mentioned good timing. I mean, if I look at it correctly, you started Firebird Africa. That was in 2020.
Yeah.
And that was during the pandemic when everything is collapsing and so on. What during that period made you feel like, okay, I'm going to start this now?
Yo, Pops, I was trying to survive. I was trying to survive.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, at that time, you didn't have really job security. And so I thought to myself, sheesh, it looks like I'm going to be out of work for a long time.
Sure.
I happen to have a little bit of money saved up. Let me see if I can come up with something. I'm seeing people are selling masks. Other people are selling other protective equipment. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to be able to compete if I do the same thing. So how can I do something a little bit different? Did some research, worked with my designer. We came up with a hook handle that could be mounted onto a door.
Yes.
And you just use your wrist to open the door.
Okay.
So we went and designed it.
Yes.
It ended up going for fabrication. I bought a mold in the heart of COVID. I didn't even know if this was going to work.
Wow.
And then eventually got the first few samples. I sent it to some clients and it was boom, we'll order some. So I ended up supplying to garages, to some mining companies.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So that gave me a little bit of a
Perfect
boost.
timing.
Talk about perfect timing. And that gave me a bit of the boost I needed then to plug some of that money into a space that I didn't know very well, which was out of
Yes.
home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, when you say out of home, I mean, for me, what I think of is, billboards and all these different assets that you talk about that you utilize. But what I'm interested to find out, because for us, it's just we just see these big companies on these billboards. We don't know the players, we don't know the market. It's quite a fearful space. How did you tell me about the journey, the story to getting your first billboard?
Okay. Let me see if I can answer this really well. Because I've been to seminars where I think as business people, we're afraid to say the hard truth about experiences.
True.
You know, what is it really like applying for a loan and all these other things. But so getting the first site, I had to sell my car, use a bit of the savings, get rid of the place I was staying at the time to move to a smaller place. Then I spent probably a good month just driving around, hoping to run into construction guys while they were working.
Sure.
So I'd drive from place to place, and then eventually if I'd see someone working, I'd say, okay, hey, I'm looking for advice. I want to check, how would you build 1, 2, 3? Okay, and then I got quotes, and then I thought, sheesh, this is my whole budget. I don't even have one client.
Wow, geez.
So then the first site then that we built was on the N17 highway, just as you going towards Orlando Stadium.
Okay.
And we finally get all the materials. We go and source it directly because I wanted to be more cost effective. Not realizing at the time what I was actually doing is starting a billboard construction company. But at the time I just said, I want to reduce the costs. I want to make sure that this is viable. And then we worked our way, we found the right suppliers, and then we built our first site.
Sure.
Amazing. Sure.
And then still in building that site, there were other costs we weren't aware of, i.e., city council submissions.
Oh my goodness.
Even before that, before you get to construction, there's engineer drawings that you have to have. So if you have a site, the first site that you build, you first take a picture of the area you want. You say, okay, I like that corner. You take a picture, you draw a little line, you send it to a designer.
Yes.
The designer says, okay, how big do you want this? 5 by 10 meters, perfect. He does the drawing. I send it to my town planner.
Yeah.
The town planner then says, this site is in this location, this address. Let me check what are the rules around there.
Around that area.
Then I need engineer drawings. Then I need the landlord's consent. So you own the property. I say, Hetty, we're going to build a billboard for you outside. Can I please have a contract from you to say you are giving us permission?
Yes.
Then all of that adds to a stack that goes to the city. In addition to that, then after you engineer drawings, then you start building. I don't know if you've seen those cement trucks that are always spinning the cement. Yeah, we go through about 4 or 5 of those per construction.
Really?
What?
Yeah. If you had to guess, how many man hours do you guys think it takes to build a billboard?
Oh my gosh. I would have no idea,
4
but
days?
I'm assuming a lot.
Depends on the size of the
Okay.
board,
Yeah.
but we're talking anywhere from, if we can't quantifying it in days, it's anywhere from 7 days to 45 days.
Always. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're looking at a big billboard, like when you have to tilt your head up and look, it takes a while because we have to consider health and safety.
Yeah.
Make sure that we're building it right. Can it withstand the wind?
Yes.
So yeah.
Wow, that is so fascinating. I wouldn't have thought that so much goes into it.
Yeah, it does. It does.
You know, Keith, when you are building something new, like Firebrand, and you're trying to establish yourself, and you've got all these unexpected expenses and processes you have to undergo, what role does strategic partnerships play in terms of people just forming relationships that can help you along the way, especially in the areas where you know absolutely nothing?
Yeah. I think before I say there are strategic partnerships, I think I'll say I've been fortunate to also meet people who are willing to open the door.
Oh, really?
Because I think that's a part people leave out a lot. Yes, I'm good at what I do. Yes, I've got a fantastic team. Yes, we've got great assets and resources.
Yes.
But it also takes having a brave brand that's saying, I know I've worked with 1, 2, 3 in the past. Let me see what you guys have based on what I've seen or the presentation.
Yes.
So I think that part is very important, having people who are willing to open the door and take the risk on you or the gamble. So for example, with Planet of the Apes or Disney, we did a huge campaign for them in 2024.
Yeah.
And they took a chance on us. They hadn't necessarily worked with us for a long time.
Okay.
And this was supposed to be one of their biggest their biggest movies of the year.
Okay.
So they said, guys, this is the project we have in mind. What can we do to make it really wow
Yes.
and push all of the sales to go to the cinema? So they basically allowed us to work with the artwork, which is something very difficult for a global company to do, to allow you to actually, have that kind of access to their.
Oh, so you guys
to
get
their
involved in design as well?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So in terms from a design point of view, also from a fabrication point of view, where we had to make this 2.5-meter ape
Sure.
hover above the billboard.
Yeah.
There had to be LED lights that were timed, that had to flash at a particular moment,
Yeah.
switch off at a particular time.
My goodness.
And also taking that gamble or that bet on an SME is not something a lot of brands do.
True.
We put, even the client suggested to us jokingly, can you add real hair on the ape? And then I said, you know what? I think we can do it. We spent a couple of weeks researching, and we tried to find a hair that would blow in the wind but not be damaged by
Yes.
the elements.
Elements and rain and what.
So eventually all of it was done. Long story short, we won an award for it for best out of home execution.
Look at that.
And that was one example of how strategic partnerships really have helped to push us up in the industry.
Yes.
Even despite our size,
Wow, I love
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
And I guess, I mean, as you've been growing, and I remember when you spoke earlier, you spoke about the importance that as you were growing as well, there was a big focus on, reinvesting in the company, delayed gratification. And if I can ask, in terms of the network that you developed,
Right.
how important was that network also in just helping you progress as you're looking to move forward?
I'll be honest and say I think, especially as a black SME, getting help or in the beginning stages of this journey is tough. And I understand why a lot of companies don't make it, which is why I love hearing that there are other incubation hubs and platforms. Maybe it's just that I and a lot of other people aren't aware. So for us, it was tough. We couldn't even get an overdraft. We couldn't even get. It was really rough. So for the most part, or the biggest part of our journey, we were self-funded.
Sure.
So if we weren't putting money ourselves as the shareholders or something, then it was pretty hard. And then I think after proving the concept and saying, I think after 5 years, it's clear that this is now a fully fledged scalable business.
Yes.
Let's start looking at some PE VC partners.
Okay.
And then we managed to after kissing a lot of frogs, we managed to meet the right partners. And I think it's also in our ability to still be willing to be students, because it's very easy to be running a business for 5 years or 10 years and not want new input and advice and guidance. So I think I'm very happy about the fact that myself and the entire team have been malleable, flexible. I think on 48 laws of power, it's stay formless. So sometimes it's just good to be, you still have to be discerning. But
That's Robert Greene, hey?
Robert Greene, yes. So it's good. You have to be discerning, but it's also good to be adaptive, flexible, willing to learn. And so these new partners have helped us to actually grow the business even more. And yeah, so far so good. So 5 years ago, one site. Now it's 450, and I think the 180 was from last year, July.
Wow, look at
Goodness
that.
gracious
So-
me. That
so
is
yeah.
exponential growth.
That's, yeah.
What
And also
would
you've been
you,
trapped. Go ahead.
what would you attribute to that growth?
It's focus, I think, and also clarity.
Okay.
We're very clear about where we want to be as a business,
Yes.
and what kind of service we want to provide to our clients.
Okay.
And we've just been laser focused on that and obsessed with it. So anytime we get big bookings, big clients coming in,
Yeah.
we take all of that and put it into building more sites
Sure.
and expanding and growing. So yeah, we haven't taken our foot off the brake.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just been relentless, and also just I think we've been lucky in the sense that trusted commercial property owners and private landowners have come to us to say, hey, I have a really nice property on the highway, or hey, I've got a really great property that is a shopping mall or shopping center.
Yes.
Come in, let's talk about how we can make this work. So I think the landlords have been a very, very big part of our success. Because if they make money, we make money. If they're happy, we're happy.
Of
You know?
course.
True. Exactly.
So I think there's that, and maybe one other aspect I would think of is doing one thing that your biggest competitors aren't doing really well.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we don't try and
one.
copy everybody, or try and do all these things, or we're not saying we want to have 5,000 billboards, but we just want to focus on the little things that we can do better that others don't, and then
Yes.
we take it from there.
Sure, no, that's quite powerful. And I mean, do you find, I mean, when I'm listening to your story now and where the company has gone, I'm thinking, okay, Firebrand, you guys work with, really big guys and really big players. Of
Right.
course, do you guys also sometimes work with like some of the smaller businesses? Because a
yes.
small business owner sometimes will look out there and we think, oh, billboard or whatever, hey, that's for really big guys. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't even want to ask how expensive it's going to be because that's out of our
Yeah.
mindset or out of reach.
Yeah, right. So that's a misnomer. So the thing is, I feel like that's also our fault as an industry.
Yes.
We haven't educated our clients or the audience in terms of how you can get a billboard. What does it mean when you're getting a billboard? What type of billboard must you get depending on where you are as a business? What your objectives are? Is it you're making an announcement? Are you trying to maintain constant visibility? Are you launching a new product? Are you launching a special? Is it
Yes.
because it's a new burger that changes a sauce every month?
Yes.
So that's the thing. So we have to kind of be part of the process to understand. But to answer your question simply is, we've got small to medium format assets, which basically means a small billboard that'll be more affordable versus a medium-sized billboard, let's say on the highway, that'll be slightly more pricey.
Okay.
And then maybe your last, the big ones that you'll see. I don't know if I can make an example. When you're on the highway and you
Yeah.
see, those massive bridge sites or ones on
Yes,
the building,
yes.
Yes.
those will get up there in terms of the investment you have to make.
Yes.
But it just depends on where you are as a business. And you might be surprised you can afford them. Some people
Yes.
would say that I'm a small business, I think billboards are too expensive, but you might be surprised and find that this billboard is accessible even for property agents.
Okay.
So property agents, because you're selling and getting commission sometimes 3 months 3 months later, you can't be coughing up thousands on advertising. So
True,
they
yeah.
also use billboards.
Okay. And I wanted to check with you. I'd actually read this on Miles Kubeka's book.
Yeah.
He's the Vuyo.
Yeah.
Oh, Vuyo, the big dreamer.
Yes, yeah.
So in his book, he spoke
Vuyo the big
about
dreamer.
how he wasn't aware, but there was one time he was driving around and then he saw an empty he saw the billboard that was advertising an event that had long passed.
Oh.
And then he was like, but that's strange because they can't be getting any income. And then he called them to say, what's this about?
You're right.
And they say sometimes that's, I forget the technical term. Anyway, the story goes that he then asked them, listen, when you have spaces where nobody's advertising like that, couldn't I use it at a significantly reduced rate because nobody's using it? And he made that arrangement with this billboard company. And he said, I didn't even know that existed. And it sends so much traffic to our site. I couldn't even believe it because sometimes that's what happens. And since I read that in that book, I don't know if it's true, but I have seen sometimes I'll go past a billboard and I'm thinking, hey man, that event was 4 months ago.
Wow.
What's been happening
it's
here?
true.
And it's still up there, and you're like, what's going on? Yeah.
It's so true. Actually, what you said, what you just said has given me an idea, but we can always talk about it and unpack it later. We could do a battle of the brands where some of the companies that you interview, we agree to 12 months on a particular billboard, and everyone can just take turns to put themselves up there for 1 month.
Oh, wow.
Or it doesn't have to be one fixed board. It could be across,
Yeah,
a number of
different
them.
areas.
But I think it would be very cool to look at that. So we're big on supporting SMEs.
Okay.
That's
Because we have enough inventory to do that.
Yeah.
So we select a few, typically 5 to 10 maximum per year as well. And then we say, okay, based on that, we're going to allocate these 5 or 10 billboards.
Oh, nice.
and then let's see how we can empower these guys and see how we can, get the name out there.
Oh, wow.
So we can talk about things like that, but the inventory allows for us to do that.
Yes,
Yes.
Or rather, this
because
industry allows it.
you've got so much of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So why not use it to benefit fellow SMEs,
Yes, yes.
Yeah, in the same way others have done that for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I always find that one of the best things about entrepreneurs is their ability to spot opportunities when nobody else spots opportunities. Do you generally find that you've got an eye for seeing an opportunity? Like literally just now, with you just being like, no, but let's actually plug these people in. Do you find that your brain is constantly working like that?
Yes, it is. I don't know what movie it was with Jim Carrey where he had to say yes to everything for
Liar,
a
liar.
while. Liar, liar, yes. So I find that the more I've been allowed myself to be open,
Yeah.
the more opportunities have come.
Yeah.
So it's not to say that we do it with the intent that something else will come back, but there's so many things we miss out on by closing the door.
Absolutely.
So I don't know what's going to happen from us having that conversation.
Yes.
And I don't know, I didn't know what was going to happen going to the first F&B event.
Yes.
And now look, I'm sitting here
Yes.
with you guys.
Yes.
So I like to always be open. And yes, because of my entrepreneurial mind, I always find opportunity in everything. I think what's also tricky though about that is when you're an ideas person, you have to have thick skin. So because you can't allow people to stifle you or tell you not to do certain things. If it's from a constructive place, yes.
Yes, yes.
But I've also noticed, sometimes people can give you advice based on the limitations they've experienced in their lives.
Thank
Yep.
you. That's
So-
such a good point.
So I'm keen to listen and learn, but at the same time I have to be discerning enough to say I'm trusting my gut.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I wouldn't have started Firebird. When I
Yes.
started, people were laughing at me saying, "Oh, you'll be back in employment in no time," or "Firebird's not going to work. These guys don't last a year, and also there's too many of you. There's probably over 200 at the time. There's over 400 by now."
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So it's just having also thick skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And trusting yourself.
Interesting. Where do you see the future of your industry, Keith? I mean, I know that the landscape is constantly changing with, of course, your traditional billboards, but you've got digital boards and digital media and marketing as well. Where do you see the future of your industry going?
Yeah, that's actually a very, very important question because at the moment, there seems to be not a war, but I'll say a battle happening against SMEs in our industry.
Okay.
And I always find it interesting that when certain big industry players are operating freely, bylaws and certifications and permits, those things are never an issue. But the more SMEs come in, and especially of color, my concern is that this influx of having the need to put in rules and permits and processes is killing the little guys.
Of course.
So there are companies that are not going to survive right now because there are, people who are actively trying to push out those smaller businesses but using
So
legal,
Yes.
So it's creating
So
this
interesting.
bottleneck for the small guys. And if you don't have enough to survive another year or two, you're finished.
Then that's it.
And I think we can't be a country that complains about unemployment, empowerment, and then we kill the very businesses that need to do that.
Sure.
So at the moment, I'm still very optimistic about my industry
Great.
because I'm one of the many who are willing to work with
Yes.
the relevant bodies. So I hope we can find a solution, but I think the only way it will work is if our industry comes together.
Of course.
And that's the future I see for the industry. We have to come together. We have to collaborate. We'll be much stronger in numbers.
Absolutely.
Instead of me going to the top 10 brands alone, I should be going with 3 or 4 others and
Yes.
submitting 800 locations
Yes.
yeah.
and saying, why do you have to go to 20 different companies?
Yes.
Come to us and we will give you what you need.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
so
Now I want to check as well, something that I was just thinking now as you're discussing. How do you see your industry where, for a lot of small businesses, they see getting real bang for their buck when they use digital media, when they use social media to be able to
Right.
market their business?
Right.
I
So
guess
for
because they
instance,
get insights.
because
with
you
that
get
as well.
insights. So then now, if I take the money and I put it into a billboard, okay, great. 400,000 people drive past every time. I don't know if there's an actual benefit. I don't know if I'm getting more inquiries. In your experience, do you have any interesting insights or companies where they've invested the time in some of your assets and they've seen really great returns? They're like, okay, but this also makes sense.
Right. So an easy example is the latest one is the election campaign that we're doing, but there are many other brands, FMCG brands that use this particular type of digital, which is our ATMs. The reason why I like those is that you have to be standing at the ATM transacting. So before you can put your password, you have to read or look at the advert. So that I can quantify and I can confirm that you
Yes.
were there standing for 3 seconds looking
Yes,
at
and
it.
it's a captive audience.
And it's a captive
Yeah.
audience.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
okay.
brilliant.
Whereas with the digital screen, the challenge there is that there's 6 to 12 different adverts and they're constantly changing
Rotating,
and
yeah.
rotating every 15 to 30 seconds. Now, if I'm at the traffic light and my advert is number 5 or 4, by the time the traffic light says green, I might not see it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like a
So-
lack of a draw.
Right. So which is why whenever you do that kind of digital, it's better to do it across a large network.
Yes,
So that
increase your
so you
probability.
yes.
Okay.
So that's the only thing. But I get why clients love it. You get to save because you don't pay for printing and production. But I
Yes,
would
of
say
course.
choose always on. If it's load shedding, you don't have to worry about that. So whereas if you have a static billboard, whether it's load shedding or not during the day or at night, it's there.
It's there.
So
there.
but yeah, it just depends what you're looking for.
Absolutely. Gosh, what a fascinating industry, constantly evolving. And I'm sure you get to meet such interesting companies that are
Yeah.
looking to put themselves out there and visibility. One last one. Is there an interesting company that has reached out to you where you're like, oh, wow, I wouldn't have thought this industry would want to advertise?
Sure.
Or maybe even some of your favorite brands that you've worked with.
There's so many. I might get into trouble. But I would say the most memorable one is probably the one that started it all, which I didn't expect. And I didn't expect them to want to have presence in Soweto, which was Luno, the Bitcoin or
okay.
cryptocurrency platform.
wow,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
They actually gave us our biggest break.
Wow, look at that.
If it wasn't for them, the two gentlemen who actually started the company here in South Africa, if it wasn't for them, I don't think we'd be here right now.
Wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so they really said, okay, you know what, build us a site or place us somewhere in Soweto. Then from there we'll start scaling up, and in the end we ended up doing about 88 billboards with them.
What?
Yeah,
Are you saying?
yeah. So we
What a beautiful story, Keith.
yeah. So every now and
Jeebus.
again, if I remember, I like to send them some flowers. So it's a good thing we're talking about it now. I think I will.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it started out with them, and who would have thought, a company like that would want to put a billboard with Vernac, and saying, no, we don't want to put English on the board. Let's think about putting some Vernac, maybe some Sotho, some Zulu,
Yes.
to help with the conversions, or the communication. But yeah, so that's one of the memorable ones. But
Sure, that's brilliant.
there's just too many. We've
Such a-
worked with
such
so
a
many.
great story.
There is one more if you let me.
Sure.
Toyota, that's another company. So sometimes companies come to us and say, we want you to build something for us.
Okay.
We're looking for a specific build,
Yes.
or in a particular area. So with
Yes.
Toyota, they said they wanted presence closer to farms, closer to their high users, their bucky users. So we said, okay, let's do a bit of research. We checked what areas. We ended up finding in Harties, if you've been to Sun City recently, or Rustenburg, there's a T-junction there called Broadstrom.
Okay.
There's a massive board there. I think it currently has F&B on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it currently has F&B on it. And initially it was a Toyota site.
Oh, wow.
So we had built that site and another one in Brits
Okay.
for
Okay.
them. and we got them closer to their audience, so much so that all the Bucky owners and the farm owners were asking if Toyota wants to come and do a show, as in bring their latest cars so they can test drive them and see them. So it ended up becoming a much,
Like a big
a much
thing.
bigger
wow.
thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was another cool project to work on.
Okay, lovely.
Sure. Gosh, I've enjoyed this conversation so much. I wish it didn't have to end. Let me throw the ball into your court, Papa Biz, in terms of some of the things that have come up for you in today's conversation.
I think the most important actually came at the beginning, because often when we are training at workshops and we receive the questions,
Yes.
obviously we need to discern, but you spoke about it in terms of, often your first business is not going to be the one that's going to really scale.
Yes. Yes.
And it's not because that you're not good or whatever. It's just there's so much to learn and so much in terms of identifying which gap and what actually is scaling, which gap can really be able to allow me to penetrate the market. But the skills that one is learning as you growing that business really serve one as you are able to then see other types of opportunities.
Absolutely.
And it's something that we just spoke about now, where as we were discussing, there's an opportunity.
Yes.
But when you have
Yeah.
your first business, your mind isn't as trained
Yes.
Yeah.
to
in terms of
see.
opportunity
100%.
and so on. And it's just being able to be open as one is growing business to developing that aspect of the mind to be able to see opportunity.
Yeah.
And sometimes it would actually take you into a different space,
Yes.
Yeah.
which can actually be more fruitful and allow you to really scale.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Sorry, I shoot from the hip.
Go for
What you're saying is inspiring a memory. So the reason why I'm big on contracts, I even sign contracts with my friends.
Oh, really?
So if we agree to something, we put it down on paper. So
Yes.
I learned that because a long time ago I used to make music. I was signed to some labels here in SA, and during that time I made a beat. So I used to produce, and I gave it to someone, and then I heard nothing of it, and then I don't know if like a month, 2 months go by. I'm sitting there at the time with my girlfriend at the time, and we're watching my favorite comedian wrap up his comedy special. And as the credits roll up, I hear my song.
Oh my
you serious?
goodness.
Yeah. So that day taught me that contracts are everything.
Formalize
Sure.
everything.
If we didn't agree, the gentleman's agreement or handshake is a
No.
thing of the past. I used
of
to
the
truly believe in that.
Yeah.
And so that day I learned contracts are
Yes.
everything.
Powerful.
You're absolutely right. They really, really are. Keith, any final parting words to the entrepreneurs that are watching? We are at the midpoint of the year. We've got the rest of the year ahead of us. We're trying to aim for our goals. Make sure that we end the year off on a strong note. Any parting shots for our entrepreneurs that are watching?
Any parting notes? My parting notes would be probably a mixture of things. One, study as much as you can about tax. Try your best to familiarize yourself around contracts.
Yes.
Even if you have someone representing you, start learning the language. And even if they mention one or two clauses or phrases or words, you're not completely thrown off, especially as a new entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Actually, not even just as a new entrepreneur. I'm always surprised how many of us have been doing this for a while and we
Yes.
still don't read through documentation.
Absolutely.
So I think that's some of it. And yeah, probably the last parting word is don't give up. Yeah, we almost closed this business in the first year and in the second year.
Sure.
And thank God we didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, just never give up, don't quit, no matter what.
Yeah, I love that. I think for me, my aha moment from this conversation was a story that you shared with us in terms of your first client. I just found it so heartwarming because sometimes in business, we are out there just trying to do our best and hoping for that lucky break. And somebody has belief, they need the value that you are offering. And just because you give your absolute best, they decide to invest in you. And then they keep using your product over and over. And that develops your confidence just to keep growing.
100%.
And it just reminded me of we just need that one break.
Yep.
And that can open the door to so much more. So thank you so much for sharing
Thank
that.
you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
it's been wonderful.
It's been a lot of fun.
All right. Thank you so much, monetizers.
Just quickly, Hetty, I
Yes.
almost forgot. If the audience, they're listening in and they want to reach out to your company, they want to do business with your company, how do they go about doing that?
So yeah, they can reach us. They can either go to www.firebird.africa or they can pop us a mail on info@firebird.africa.
Okay.
And it's normal spelling for Africa. There's no .com or .co.za. And yeah, if they like as well, they can pop us a mail and let us know. I think based on us having this cool conversation, I'll pick maybe one person to give a board to at the end of this month.
Okay.
So if they pop us a mail, whoever's interested can tell us why they would like to have the board.
Sure. Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, tell us why you deserve the board and why your brand needs to be on one of our billboards.
Sure.
And yeah, our team will review it. We'll give it maybe 7 days,
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Okay.
So let's say by the 15th of August, then I'll let you guys know who got it, and then we'll put them up.
Okay, lovely. Thanks.
Great stuff. Thank you so much, Keith. Yeah, that's amazing. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, monetizers, and I hope you have as well. Please do share your aha moments with us within the comment section. Is there anything that Keith shared that truly resonated with you that you can relate to? We would love to hear from you. Don't forget to plug into all of our social media platforms. It's at Monetize Your Business, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.